What's up YouTube, Dale here from Zephyr, and today we're here with Mike again, and Mike is bringing us something incredibly spicy that I haven't done on the channel yet, and that is Tistina. Now he's gone for a specific OTK style build, but it also has the balance of cards that can be utilised going first. So Mike knows his deck a million times more better than I do, so I'm going to let him take that away.
Right, so basically Tistina, it is not as strong. Everyone was hyping it up when the new support came out in the new set of Age of Overlord. It could have been better, but I still committed to it. I'm still trying it out, and I'm still absolutely hyped for the OCG implementation of what they can bring to the table. But as of now, I think the best way to play this is just blind second OTK. And to start things off, I'm playing Free of the Bird. This is basically the best starter you can have. It can target any Tistina monster or any set cards on the field, destroy it. This is sadly not part of the cost, so it destroys for effect, and then searches any Tistina card. And it can also revive itself from the graveyard, or it special summons from hand if you control a light Tistina monster. Then the main searcher for the field spell is this little one. It can discard itself from the hand to place the field spell directly from the deck into the zone, so it can't be ashed. And also, if a spell card on your side of the field is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, it can special summon a light Tistina from hand or graveyard as well. So this is quite handy. So it has two very powerful effects. Now to the main piece of the deck. This is the Crystal God. Every card around this deck requires him to be either on the field or attached to the equivalent Xyz monster. So what it does, it doesn't have any special summoning requirements, it's just a level 10 monster. It can, during the main phase, flip all your opponent's monsters face down. And yeah, that's basically one of the big ones. What is a requirement, and also the field spell, what we come to in a second, can special summon itself, can special summon the big Crystal God if your opponent controls 3 or more face-up cards. It's a bit conflicting because the entire deck revolves around having the opponent's side face down, but there is a way to balance it during the combo. One of the strongest cards, and sadly one of the weakest if your opponent knows how to interact with it. This is the Demigod. It has the ability, if you control a Tistina card, any Tistina card, even a field spell, or one of the little ones, one of the normal summons, it can special summon itself and search for any Tistina spell or trap. The problem is, this is part of the summoning effect, so the summon itself can be ashed. I mean, you can play around imperm, but it can be ashed. This is the main OTK enabler, has the same effect as the bird in terms of summoning itself. So if it's in a grave or in a hand and you control a light Tistina monster, it can special summon itself from grave or hand. And whilst this card is on the field and your opponent controls a face down card, any Tistina monster can attack your opponent directly. This is just a funny little extender I want to try out. If you control a Tistina card, you can target this Tistina monster, or if you control a Tistina monster, you can target a Tistina monster, special summon it from hand, and its level becomes the level of the targeted monster. So you can go into instant rank 10 plays. You could even consider rank 4 plays, because you're not locked into anything. I don't think that rank 4s are that great. Maybe I'm trying something out as in going first build with more of the dogs, the OTK enablers, because he is a level 4, and just having Baguska kind of as a backup. But as of now, it's pure going second. The other main OTK enabler is an in-archetype Kaiju, what normal summons itself by tributing one of your opponent's face-down cards. And if it's tribute summoned, it becomes level 10. If this card hits the graveyard, unless it was sent from the field, it can target an Aqua Xyz monster, any Aqua Xyz, and it can make a second attack. during the battle phase, but you can only attack with one monster. Now to the spells. The most important one is the field spell. It has the effect during the main phase. You can Foolish Burial one of your Tistina monsters, and if your opponent controls 3 or more cards face up, you can also special summon the Crystal God from your deck or hand. And if your opponent destroys this card whilst it's face up on the field zone, you can special summon him anyways from deck, hand or graveyard. And I think this is why this card is relatively important, because ditching this for cost to place it directly, you don't activate it, so your opponent cannot baron the activation of the card, and therefore if they interact with the effect, it will be destroyed whilst in the field zone. So if you just hard open this, what is not necessarily bad, and I baron it on activation, it hasn't hit the field zone yet, so you will not get the special summon effect off. Now, this is a basic extender. It's a monster reborn or special summon from hand any Tistina monster once per turn. It's a quick play, can be useful on your opponent's turn. It's just if you want to set it, if you open multiples, you can have one set to just revive something from the grave or just special summon from hand. This is a card I played at 1 before this build now, because what it basically does, you can search it easily with any Tistina card. What it does is you have an additional normal summon for a Tistina monster per turn, what is important for your Kaiju because it requires you to normal summon it. And you can flip face down any of your monsters, or if you control a light Tistina monster, you can flip one of your opponent's monsters face down instead and search for any Tistina card. The reason why I'm playing 2 is because it's such an important combo piece and you want to have it, and I played way too often against Telemans and I just milled it, so I have no reason to get it back, just as a backup. If I'm not playing Tier, I would probably side it out for game 2, 3. This is the only way I think this deck can actually play going first, and only if your opponent is playing graveyard heavy. So what it does is, it's a Tistina card, it is searchable through the entire deck. What it does, if you control a Tistina monster or light Tistina monster, you can target one of your opponent's monsters or cards in the grave, banish it face down, and if you control and Tistina monster special summon from the X-Deck, what is currently just him, you can banish your entire opponent's graveyard face down. What is quite strong. And the reason why I'm playing it and then going second build is, first of all, if my opponent for whatever reason decides to make me go first, I can just back it up with this. And if it's in conjunction with this, for example, with the bird, I can just simply set it, and this bird just lets me destroy any face-down cards or Tistina cards. And this has a very powerful graveyard effect. If I haven't used one of the other effects, I can banish it to add any of my Tistina cards from the graveyard back to my hand. So it has value going first and second. Again, if my opponent decides, or I lose the die roll, or if I go second game 2, I probably would side it out for something stronger. But it's nice as a backup. Now for non-engine, I'm on free draw. Self-explanatory, draw is very strong. For most decks it's a turn skip. And with the Tistina archetype, the field spell itself, I want them to commit to some sort of board because it requires your opponent to have 3 face-up cards. So luckily for me, most of the archetypes currently around have some sort of field spell, what always commits to 1 face-up card. And yeah, any other deck basically commits to at least 3 cards on the field. The only issue I have with this deck running up against is Unchained, because they end up on 2 monsters on the field and just set cards, what is a bit awkward sometimes, but I get there. Then Free Ash, very generic. free Veiler. Very simple, very easy as well. Effect negation, very strong this format. Then I'm playing free Super Poly, because the extra deck is basically free. I considered running Prosperity as well. The problem is Prosperity halves the amount of damage you deal, so it's a bit awkward if you want to OTK. One Cold Buy, one Feather Duster, and for the other traps, just free Imperm. Again, effect negation, it's very strong. And yeah, let's move on to the extra deck. Again, it's very free. The main combo piece, the main thing is they are level 10, so rank 10, the main boss monster. This card lets you detach one material from it, and if it has a Crystal God attached, like the original God card, it gains 2000 attack, so it is on 4k. And what you want to detach from him is the Kaiju, because again, if this one leaves, is sent to the graveyard unless it was sent from the field, you can target one Aqua Xyz and it can make a second attack. So it has 4k, can attack twice, and with the OTK enabler, it can attack directly. So it's basically just 4k game. More often than not, it's not really enough, so I need to back it up with some other plans. So if you're not committing to the Kaiju detaching, you're not locked into attacking with one monster. So you can still attack directly with all what you have. Then you go to main phase 2 and hopefully you have another extender, rank 10. And you can go into backup plays. And because the Xyz monster battled this turn, you can go into a Zeus. Then for the Super Poly target, relatively generic, Dragostapelia, Mud Dragon. I'm not too sure about this. I want this to be Gearfried, but I wasn't fast enough to buy it. And Garura. Again, just very generic Super Poly targets. Because I'm maining Droll and Veiler, this might be nice. Just because you want to break boards, OTK them. Dark, the Dark Charmer. Basically, the only way you can go into this is either with an Anima, Garura, or a Mud Dragon, or Dragostapelia. So your Super Poly targets or Anima will make the Dark Life, and it's just generic. Again, extra deck space is kind of free. Then I have an ASP and an IP. Again, this could be a nice backup plan for going first. If they make you go first. And then I have a Celine and an Axis Code. Just, again, breaking boards, OTKing, might be nice. So yeah, that's the extra deck. Now to the side deck. I'm playing 3 of Book of Eclipse, because I hate Pearly. And also you want them to have at least one face down, so your dog can make your Tistinas attack directly. 2 Lightning Storms, just as a spell and trap negate or removal, in addition to the 1 main Feather Duster. 3 Cosmic Cyclone. Again, spell and trap removal. Then I play 3 Crossout Designator. Main idea is because I'm running so many hand traps, and going into game 2, I side out the trap, for example. I side out the continuous spell as well, so I can side those 3 in, just to be protected from hand trap as well. And because I'm running Designator, and I hate Pearly, I'm also playing this. Because it's just amazing if they just go, okay, I will draw 2, and then I just go Imperm, then they chain the trap, and then I just chain Crossout Designator, so they can't go into rank up. So they just lose all the value on their big Pearly plays, because with the Imperm, they can't draw. And normally what you do is you go Book, so they would get still the 2 draws. And in this combo, 1 Ash could theoretically be enough to stop your entire plays. And just 3 Rivalry of Warlords because I don't know what else to put in and I need something going first. All my monsters are Aqua.
Yeah, so definitely a very interesting build, and Tistina just being a generally odd type of deck. I feel that you can definitely tell kind of not budget restrictions, but budget choices. Obviously, if you're playing a Go second deck, you're probably gonna. I know they're just gonna get asked this in like the comments and everything like that with Triple Tactic Talent, Triple Tactic Thrust, and everything else. Obviously, it makes a little bit more sense when you've got an unlimited budget. But if you're going to be going for something like that, you're not going to pump that unlimited budget into a deck like Tistina, because the idea behind Tistinas right now is that technically they can be built relatively cheaply. But like Mike said, what's always very, very interesting about TCG exclusive decks is that what a lot of people don't know is technically TCG exclusive decks are always OCG decks first. It's the OCG that create the cards and everything else, and they just say, okay, we're going to release these in the TCG first. Usually what they do 9 times out of 10 is they will hold one particular card back from that archetype so that it gets released when the OCG get them, and then the TCG will get them later on down the line. And if you look back at some of the TCG exclusives, you can go all the way back to stuff like Beatrice for Bone and Abyss. You had Double Agent or Double Helix for Spirals. Then there was Plunder. Yeah, there's Guru. So Subterra Guru was obviously the OCG involvement of the TCG exclusive from there. So each different archetype will always get one more card. More times than not, they are insanely busted. When it comes to a deck like Tistina, which are just so far off of being like the #1 meta deck, usually that card lets them go up 1 or 2 ranks, which is always pretty good. So you can't wait to see what happens with this. And it's kind of like a pre-warning. At the moment with Tistinas only needing Ultras and a couple of secrets, something like £1 to £2 a copy, it's probably worth getting in at the ground level if this deck looks like something you're interested in. And then worst case scenario, the deck doesn't become that good, you still have it as a casual £30, £40 deck. If it does become good and you don't enjoy it anymore, then you get to make a bit of money out of it and then upgrade and work your way up into a higher deck.
Yeah. So again, all the Tistina monsters or all the Tistina cards are relatively cheap. I think this one is like £2, if that. I think this one is more expensive because you run it as free off. So this is £3. There is not that much money in. This one is maybe let it be £4 each. So it's not that hard to get. And yeah, if you have fun playing going second stuff, just OTK your opponent. Try it out.
Definitely. Thank you so much for that. Hopefully you do well. So this is recorded pre-locals. He played this at locals last week. He's possibly going to play it again this week. So give Mike a bit of congratulations or like best of luck with tonight's locals, and we'll see how we get. And then if I can provide any update on the video, we will do. For now, thank you so much for watching. Don't do like, comment, subscribe, share. Till next time, as absolutely always, stay safe and of course, happy dueling.